Welcome back, everyone. You've been exploring Vedic knowledge with us, and today we're going a bit deeper than the basics.
Yeah, we're diving into Gita for Joyful Living, specifically, verses 2 and 3 from chapter 4. It's like we're not just skimming the surface this time. We're going to really see what makes this knowledge so unique and powerful.
Yeah, it is fascinating how these verses don't just tell us what the knowledge is, but they reveal some interesting things about its very nature.
Okay, so the text calls this eternal knowledge. That's kind of a big statement, right? I mean, does that mean it's like, scientific law, something that's always been true and will always be true?
I think that's a great way to look at it. Just like the laws of physics hold true across time and space, this knowledge is presented as a timeless truth relevant in any era.
So it's not just some old philosophy that's lost its relevance, but it's really talking about something fundamental about being human, something that transcends time.
Hmm.
Exactly. You see, gaining self-knowledge, realizing the Atman, which is beyond this body and mind, is as relevant today as it was centuries ago.
But then it gets even more interesting. The text calls this secret knowledge, which seems a little bit contradictory, right? Like, if it's so important, why keep it a secret?
Right, and that's where it gets really interesting. The text isn't talking about a secret as in some hidden information that's deliberately kept from people. It's more about highlighting the challenge of perceiving this knowledge.
Yeah.
Because, we're all so caught up in material pursuits. You can think of it like radio waves. They're all around us, but without a radio receiver, we can't access them, right?
Oh, okay, so I'm starting to get it. So it's not that the knowledge itself is hidden away somewhere. It's more about whether we're even ready to receive it.
Exactly.
So the secret is more about our own perception and our own readiness to grasp something beyond just the material world.
Exactly. And the text also points to the need for mental maturity to truly understand this knowledge. It suggests that even if someone were to stumble upon this wisdom without the right level of understanding, its deeper meaning would remain elusive.
That makes me think about how we gain self-knowledge gradually, right? It's not like an overnight transformation. It's more of a process of growth and understanding. So maybe this secret aspect also has something to do with the fact that this knowledge sort of unfolds as we evolve and mature.
That's a very insightful connection. Just like you wouldn't teach advanced concepts to someone who's just starting out, this knowledge is revealed in stages. And this brings us to another interesting aspect. The text claims that this knowledge is appropriate for everyone, but if it requires mental maturity and a certain level of understanding, then how can it be for everyone?
Yeah, I see what you mean. It seems almost like a paradox. Like on one hand, it's this really profound knowledge that requires this refined understanding. But on the other hand, it's accessible to all.
Precisely. The text seems to be hinting at a layered system of knowledge where there are different levels of understanding.
Oh,
It's like having different grades in school where the curriculum is tailored to the student's capabilities. The same core knowledge is present, but it's presented in a way that's appropriate for each level.
that makes sense. So there might be aspects of this knowledge that are immediately accessible, while other more profound truths, reveal themselves as we progress on this path of self-discovery.
Exactly.
And this reminds me of the idea that although self-knowledge is a gradual process, it brings instant joy upon realization.
Right.
So this suggests that there are levels to this joy too, right?
Mhm.
Perhaps a taste of joy is available to everyone, while a deeper, more lasting joy comes with a deeper understanding.
That's a fascinating observation. It suggests that this knowledge is structured in a way that accommodates individuals at different stages of their journey. And this is where the idea of a graded learning system becomes really interesting.
Yeah, so we're not all expected to, grasp the most complex concepts right away.
Yeah.
There's like a path, a progression that allows us to deepen our understanding over time. But if this knowledge is presented in stages, how do we know we're even on the right track? How do we know we're understanding it correctly?
Well, that leads us to another fascinating feature highlighted in the text, which is the idea of Vedic knowledge being a science. It really is remarkable how the text presents Vedic knowledge not simply as a set of beliefs, but as a science, a way of systematically exploring the truth about life and ourselves.
That's an interesting perspective. It definitely challenges like the common perception that spiritual knowledge is all about faith and intuition. So if it's a science, what kind of experiments are we talking about here? It's not like we can measure self-knowledge in a lab setting or anything.
You're absolutely right. The experiments here are much more personal.
Yep.
The text encourages us to actually apply these principles, the principles of this knowledge, in our lives and observe the results.
So instead of just accepting what's written in these ancient texts, we're supposed to actively test them out and see if they actually hold up.
Exactly. It's like becoming our own researchers, studying the inner workings of our minds and how they impact our experiences.
So that makes a lot of sense. It really takes this wisdom out of the realm of abstract philosophy and brings it into our everyday